What is going on, basketball fans? Today we got a video that I'm really excited about because we are doing my first official NBA mock draft. We're going to do lottery only, but we are going to simulate the lottery and see, which team will get the number one pick. That way it mixes up the order a little bit, makes it a little bit more fun. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure you guys subscribe. If you guys are new, hit that like button and let me know down below in the comment section if after the draft lottery for mock draft 2.0, if you guys want to see me do a full first round draft. But yeah, guys, let's get it started. Let's go ahead and sim the lottery. You look at the odds: Pistons, Rockets, and Spurs most likely to get the number one pick here. We'll see if one of those three actually get it, because we all know whoever's getting the number one pick is drafting Victor Wembanyama. So let's see who gets it. It is going to be the Indiana Pacers. That is some twist. So Indiana jumps 6 spots to get the number one pick. Spurs get the number 2 pick. They jump up 1 spot. Tough break for Pistons fans as they fall down to number 2 after having an atrocious season, only winning 16 games. That is horrible. But then you got Orlando jumping up, Houston, Charlotte, and Portland all dropping down, and really the rest of them kind of staying the same in their order. So that's pretty interesting. Indiana, we already know who the number one pick is going to be, but let's go ahead and get into the mock draft with this order. Now that we have our draft order, let's get into the mock draft. So with the number one pick in the 2023 NBA draft, the Indiana Pacers are selecting Victor Wembanyama. This is an absolute no-brainer. Whoever gets that number one pick is going to draft Victor Wembanyama and is going to get a franchise-changing pick, because Wemby is the most hyped up prospect we have seen maybe since LeBron James. Maybe it was since Zion Williamson, but he is very hyped up, and he's going to have a ton of pressure on him to be great in the NBA, but I have zero doubts that he is going to be great. I mean, he is like built in a lab to be an NBA superstar. He's 7'2". He can dribble, he can shoot, he can drive, he can post up, he can shoot the midi, he can play defense, block shots. I mean, there is not a single thing that he cannot do, and Indiana, if they somehow jump this far and get the number one pick, this will be a franchise-changing pick for the Pacers, and anyone in the lottery, anyone in the NBA, whoever gets Victor, it will turn around their franchise for years and years to come. So this is an absolute no-brainer in my mind and pretty much everybody's minds. With the number 2 pick in the NBA draft, the San Antonio Spurs will select Scoot Henderson. Now, I could see the Spurs going 2 ways with this. I could see them drafting Scoot Henderson or drafting Brandon Miller with this number 2 pick. I decided to go with Scoot Henderson. I feel like he is the best point guard in this draft, and I know that the Spurs do have Trey Jones, who has been pretty good for them. But I feel like Scoot Henderson is just he just has so much upside to be an amazing point guard, a superstar point guard in this league. And I don't think that you can pass on him if you are the San Antonio Spurs. So I personally would go with Scoot Henderson in this, but if they wanted to take Brandon Miller here, because Brandon Miller, I am very high on him as well, I would not be mad at that either if you do believe in Trey Jones being your starting point guard of the future. With the number 3 pick in the NBA draft, we do have the Detroit Pistons, and they select Brandon Miller. Now, this would be the perfect pick for the Pistons, assuming they don't get the number 1 pick. Brandon Miller would be the next best thing for the Pistons specifically, if they do not get Wemby. So they already have Cade Cunningham, they have Jaden Ivey, 2 young players who have shown they have a ton of potential and can be pillars to this rebuild on this Pistons team, and Brandon Miller can be that next pillar. I am a college basketball fanatic, as you guys know if you guys are subscribers to this channel. I make a ton of college basketball content, and I am very high on Brandon Miller. I've watched him throughout this year do some amazing things, drop 40 points and hit 2 game winners against South Carolina, 1 to force OT and 1 to win the game. I mean, he has been amazing to watch, and a lot of people I see are comparing him to Jabari Smith, who was drafted last year out of Auburn. I like Brandon Miller as a player more than Jabari Smith. I think that he has shown more to me. Maybe he's got that killer instinct, but I do think that Brandon Miller will be better than Jabari Smith, and I really like him falling to the Pistons here at number 3. With the 4th pick in the NBA draft, the Orlando Magic are selecting Amen Thompson. Now, Amen Thompson, I really like this pick here for the Magic. I feel like the Magic with Paolo Banchero, with Franz Wagner, they need a playmaker on this team. I know they have guys like Markelle Fultz and like Jalen Suggs, who has not really turned out, but they need a true guard on this team who can playmake, and Amen Thompson is a 6'7" guard who is an amazing playmaker. He can be a triple-double machine, and I think the Magic in this spot at number 4 have to take him. He's also a really good defender. The only thing about Amen Thompson, he's got to work on that three-point shot. If he can knock down the three-point shot, and if the Magic can develop him, he is going to be a star and would be a great piece to add around Paolo and Franz Wagner there on the Magic. With the 5th pick in the NBA draft, the Houston Rockets are selecting Amen Thompson's brother, Ausar Thompson. Now, Ausar Thompson is really this almost the exact same player as Amen Thompson, honestly. Ausar Thompson is maybe the better defender as he averages more steals per game, but he has the same height, still has the same shooting problem, needs to work on that shooting, but still, he can be a triple-double machine. Both these players are really good, and the Rockets would get a stud here at number 5. Maybe this is a reach, as a lot of people don't have Ausar Thompson as high as Amen, but I honestly think that they're pretty close, and if you're high on Amen Thompson, you should be high on Ausar as well. With the 6th pick in the NBA draft, we do have the Charlotte Hornets, and I do have them selecting Taylor Hendricks out of Central Florida University. Now, I do think that Taylor Hendricks may be the best center prospect in this draft. I mean, he could play power forward, he could play center, but like I said, I'm a college basketball fanatic, and I did watch Central Florida this year, and I noticed Taylor Hendricks was really good. I did not expect him to get this much hype with the NBA draft, but I am pleasantly surprised because he is a stud player, and when you really think about it, he is a perfect NBA draft prospect. I mean, he is a big man. He can knock down the 3 ball. He can block shots. Yes, he will need to develop that at the next level. It won't come right away, but I think that he is perfect for Charlotte here. They need a big man around LaMelo, Terry Rozier, and this would be a perfect fit here with Taylor Hendricks because he can also stretch the floor, which will be perfect for LaMelo Ball's playmaking as well. With the 7th pick in the NBA draft, we do have the Portland Trail Blazers, and I do have them selecting Jarace Walker, the forward out of Houston. Now, I think that this is a really good fit here for the Portland Trail Blazers. I personally am a big fan of Jarace Walker. Watching him play at college, he is a forward who can dribble, he can drive off the dribble. The shot is there. It's not very consistent yet, but I am a big believer that with some developing, Jarace Walker will be a really good three-point shooter at the next level, and he can also defend. Playing at Houston, you have to be able to defend for Coach Kelvin Sampson, so he's going to be a good defender, and he can also score in the post. Now, will the post scoring translate from college to the NBA level? Maybe not in the first year, but that will develop as well. Very good pick here, in my opinion, by the Blazers, getting Jarace Walker at number 7. With the 8th pick in the NBA draft, we do have the Washington Wizards. Now, I am a Wizards fan, and I know that this team desperately needs a true starting point guard, a star point guard on this team. Monte Morris is not going to do it for this Wizards team anymore. We need a point guard, so I'm very excited to announce this pick that they will be getting Anthony Black with the 8th pick in the draft. Now, if the Wizards are picking around this spot, I would love for them to draft Anthony Black as a fan. A lot like Amen and Ausar Thompson, Anthony Black does need to work on his three-point shot a little bit, but the playmaking is there. He is a very tall point guard. The playmaking is there. The driving is there. He can definitely score the rock. He needs to work on that shooting, but I think that that is a project the Wizards need to take on and help him become a good shooter. With the 9th pick in the NBA draft, we do have the Utah Jazz, and I do have them selecting Maxwell Lewis out of Pepperdine University. Now, maybe some people think that this is a reach here with the 9th pick, but Maxwell Lewis really is a Danny Ainge type of guy. Like, I could see Maxwell Lewis kind of being compared to maybe like a Jaylen Brown, who Danny Ainge did draft when he was with the Celtics. And I do think a project player like this under Danny Ainge, who has shown that he can, really build up prospects really well. I mean, you look at what has happened to Lauri Markkanen there at Utah and all these good players. I think Maxwell Lewis is the perfect player for this Jazz team to pick up if they are drafting around this area. So I think I love this pick right here. Maxwell Lewis, if he's to the right franchise, I think Maxwell Lewis is going to be a stud. With the 10th pick in the NBA draft, we do have the Dallas Mavericks, and I do have them selecting Cam Whitmore out of Villanova. Now, I do think the Mavericks need a big man. That is the biggest hole on this Mavericks team, but there is no bigs worth taking for quite some time. So I could see maybe the Mavericks trading away this pick, but if they don't, if they keep it, I think that Cam Whitmore would not be a bad piece to this team, because this is a player that can come in and help your team win now. I mean, Cam Whitmore, a lot like Jarace Walker, he has a lot of potential shooting the rock. He's a really good dribbler at the forward position. So I think that him being around, being there with Luka, Kyrie, I think that wouldn't be a bad fit at all. I know they need a center, but Cam Whitmore would not be a bad pick here if the Mavs don't trade it away. With the 11th pick in the NBA draft, we do have the Orlando Magic once again. This pick they got from the Chicago Bulls. And earlier in the draft at number 4, we saw the Magic draft Amon Thompson. Really good pick. But like I said, he's not the best shooter. So what do? They double down with that and get a really good shooter in Grady Dick. I love this combination of picks here for the Magic if they do get them. Getting Amon Thompson, a true playmaker, could be a triple-double machine, a great defender at 6'7", and then going back at pick 11 and getting Grady Dick, who can be an elite shooter in the NBA and is also 6'7", 6'8" as well. He was a beast at Kansas, and let me tell you, he is not just a shooter. He is going to be able to drive, defend over time, and I think a good comparison for Grady Dick would be like a Tyler Hero type player. So I think that the Magic would get a stud right here at 11 to pair up with Amon Thompson along with Paolo Banchero. That would be a very fun young squad to watch there in Orlando. With the 12th pick in the NBA draft, we do have the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I do have them selecting G.G. Jackson, the forward out of South Carolina. Now, I do think G.G. Jackson could be a really good pick here at number 12 here for the Thunder. He is going to be a forward that gives them something different than some of their current forwards on their roster. He can be a true scorer from the forward position and a good shooter for this Thunder team, which I think is very important. I think G.G. Jackson has a lot of potential as a scorer and will give the Thunder another option here on this team. So I really like this pick here by the Thunder and how this draft has turned out. 2 more picks now, and with the 13th pick, we do have the Toronto Raptors, and I do have them selecting Nick Smith Jr., the guard out of Arkansas. Now, he did have some injuries there at Arkansas, so his stats don't really show up, but you got to think, you got to look back at what he was doing in high school. He was the number 1 overall recruit out of high school for this class, and in his freshman season still he showed his potential as a shooter, as a scorer, especially. Like, Nick Smith Jr. could be a stud, and I think that the Raptors have a really good system and building up prospects. So I think Nick Smith Jr. Is going to a really good franchise that knows how to develop their talent. So I really like this pick here by Toronto. And with the final pick in the lottery, final pick of this video, we do have the New Orleans Pelicans selecting at 14, and I do have them drafting Cason Wallace out of Kentucky. And I think that this Pelicans team could use a point guard that could play make, and I think Cason Wallace definitely gives you that. I was torn between this on this pick between either Cason Wallace or Keontae George. I think Cason Wallace is the better playmaker, which makes me feel like he's the better fit for this Pelicans team, and he could also be the more efficient shooter right out the gate, and I think that's what New Orleans will be looking for in this draft. So I do have the Pelicans selecting Cason Wallace here. Let me know what you guys think about my NBA mock draft 1.0, and 2.0 will probably come out after the NBA draft lottery. If you guys want to see me do a full first round draft for that video, let me know down below in the comment section. Make sure you guys drop a like, hit that sub button, and we will be live streaming tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time for Lakers versus Warriors game 1. So make sure you guys tune in for that. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching.